After 6 months into 2026, and if you've looked only at the year-to-date numbers for the Inland Empire, you might come to a pretty simple conclusion that the market cooled. Prices are slightly lower, fewer homes sold, so maybe this isn't the best time to sell. But here's the problem. Those numbers may be telling you where the market has been, not where it is right now. And if you're deciding whether to sell in the Inland Empire, especially Corona or Temescal Valley, that difference matters. Because underneath those softer 6-month numbers, the most recent data is telling a different story. Pending sales are up, closed sales are up, homes are selling faster, sellers are getting closer to asking price, and the median price recovered from where it was earlier in the year. So which story should you believe? The answer is both. But you need to understand what each set of numbers is actually telling you. Let's start with the year-to-date numbers. Across the Inland Empire, new listings are down about 5.2% compared to last year. Sold listings are down just under 2%. The median sales price is down about 0.8%, sitting around $625,000. And total sales volume is down approximately 2.4%. So yes, the first half of 2026 was softer than the same period in 2025. But those numbers are real. But a 6-month average can still give you the wrong impression about today. Why? Because it combines January through June into one number. If the first few months were weak and the more recent months improved, the year-to-date report blends those two periods together. That can hide a change in direction. Think of it like driving. Your rear-view mirror tells you where you've been. That matters. But if you want to know where you're going now, you have to look through the windshield. Housing data works the same way. But what changed? Earlier in the year, pricing softened. The Inland Empire median sales price fell to around $610,000 in February after being closer to $630,000 the previous June. Those weaker months still weigh on year-to-date reports. But by May, the median price had climbed back to approximately $635,000. Then June showed improvement in several important areas. Pending sales increased about 10.2% year over year. Closing sales were up about 7.4%. Total sales volume increased nearly 8% for the month, reaching around $1.9 billion. That does not erase the softer start of the year, but it does tell us the direction changed. More homes were going under contract. More transactions were closing, and more dollars were moving through the market. That is very different than simply saying the market is down this year. Market speed improved too. In June, homes across the Inland Empire averaged around 20 days on market. A year earlier, it was closer to 23 days. 3 days may not sound dramatic, but across a regional market, it is meaningful. It suggests buyers are making decisions faster when they find the right home at the right price. Now, that doesn't mean every home will sell in 20 days. A home in Temescal Valley can perform differently depending upon neighborhood, price, condition, HOA costs, insurance, and competing inventory. But the regional trend still tells us the overall pace improved. Another number worth watching is the relationship between final list price and sales price. A year ago, the average sold price was approximately 99.58% of final list price. In June, that figure was around 100%. That does not mean every seller received full price, but some sold over, some under, and some sellers gave credits or negotiated repairs. But overall, sellers were holding closer to their asking prices. When homes are selling faster and sellers are also retaining more of their asking price, that suggests the negotiating balance may be improving for properly positioned homes. And this is important. Prices do not have suddenly skyrocket for selling conditions to get better. Stable prices, faster sales, tighter inventory, and less aggressive buyer negotiation can all improve a seller's position. Now let's bring this close to home. Recent transaction activity in Corona is up approximately 18% year over year. So while the broader 6-month Inland Empire numbers may still look soft, local activity can tell a very different story. And even Corona is not one market. Temescal Valley can behave differently from central Corona. And within Temescal Valley, communities such as Sycamore Creek, Horse Thief Canyon Ranch, Terramore, Trilogy, and The Retreat can all perform differently. Different price points, buyer pools, and competition. That is why the right questions are not simply, how is the Inland Empire doing? The better sequence is, what is happening across the region? What is happening in Corona or Temescal Valley? What is happening in your neighborhood and price range? And how does your specific home compare with the home buyers can choose from right now? That is the information that should guide a selling decision. And here is where homeowners can get into trouble. They search online, find a market report, see what prices or sales are slightly down year to date, and conclude, I should wait until the market improves. But the improvement they are waiting for may already have started. That does not automatically mean you should sell now. It means you should not make the decision based only on a 6-month average. A better question is, what happened in the last 30 to 60 days? Year-to-date numbers give you the context. Recent numbers give you the direction. If you're deciding whether to list next month, you need both. Instead of focusing only on median price, look at current inventory. How many homes are competing with yours? Pending sales. Are buyers putting more homes under contract? Days on market. Are well-priced homes moving faster or slower? Price reductions. Are sellers having to adjust? And the sold to list ratio. How much negotiating power are sellers actually retaining? Then bring those numbers down to your neighborhood and your price range. A $650,000 home may behave very differently from a $1.2 million home. A 55-plus property may behave differently from a 4-bedroom family home. The more specific the data becomes, the more useful it becomes. So here is the first half of 2026 in perspective. Yes, year-to-date, new listings are down. Closed sales are slightly down. Median price is slightly down, and total sales volume is slightly down. But the more recent data shows a different direction. The median price recovered from the February low. June pending sales are up more than 10% year over year. Closed sales and sales volume increased. Homes sold faster, and sellers on average held closer to full asking price. Both stories are true. The mistake is using only the first story to decide what you should do next. If you own a home in the Inland Empire, especially Corona or Temescal Valley, and you have been holding off because the year-to-date numbers look discouraging, take a closer look before making that decision. We can prepare a current market analysis showing what comparable homes are selling for, how quickly they're moving, what competition you would face, and what your estimated net proceeds would look like. Then you can compare selling now against waiting based on current numbers instead of guesswork. The link to schedule a free 15-minute strategy call is in the description. No pressure, no obligation. Just a clear look at the market you would actually be selling into. So after looking at these numbers, you may be wondering, does this mean I should sell now, or should I still be better off waiting? That decision is about more than whether prices go up or down. Waiting can affect your competition, your buying power for your next home, interest rates, inventory, and even how much flexibility you have when it's finally time to move. That's why I recommend watching The Real Risk of Waiting to Sell Your Home in 2026 next. In that video, I break down what homeowners should consider before deciding that waiting 6 months or a year is automatically the safer choice. Click on that video next, and I'll see you there.